What happens when the economy continues to stay weak for an extended period of time? Companies lay off workers. Then these people begin to accept social assistance programs for as long as possible. The weakness of this market economy was exposed in 2008 when the world began to tumble, when the cracks appeared, when the shareholders wet the bed. You came here for the truth. Today, we are going to look at mass US store closures. Beginning with this, 2017 announced store closing. So while we have a few that are clearly above the rest, you will see that there are thousands and thousands of stores being closed in 2017. Let's factor in everything that has happened since 2008. Companies were laying off, and it wasn't just in the US, it was a global issue. So these are the stores closing. Let's go into it a little bit further. Retail square footage and sales per capita. What I do find interesting is that the US is far ahead its European counterparts. It's a huge difference, in fact. And then you have countries like Canada and like Australia that are really leading the pack, I would say, in comparison to the areas of Europe and Asia. That should tell us something. Is there too much of that retail space to begin with? Net new stores by year. This is the answer to your question. Dollar General, 810. And you know what's very interesting is you look at the total here, about 1,000. They're nearly all of the new stores. Think about that. All of the new stores being opened are dollar stores. Now, surely dollar stores aren't the dollar they used to. You see, products that are $3, $4 and more. But the point is there that people need to save money. They need to go to the cheapest places to eat, the cheapest places to get their groceries and their other items. And this is a very clear indicator to me about the health of the economy. A lot of people like to check the stock market, PE ratios, fake employment numbers, and everything else. Why not look at this? To me, you let me know what you think, but I think this is a very clear indicator. One of many, but it's very clear to me. Going a little further, Dollar General versus net new store openings. And it's just a different way to look at it. But here you have the blue line being, that's the dollar store. And you look at the ratio here of everything else. It has 4 times greater than everything else. I mean, this tells me something. It tells me it's very, very clear now. There is also a trend. You see the internet has obviously expanded and more stores are going online and they keep them in warehouses. And one very good example of that is this. Amazon. Store count at the end of 2016, 29. Expected store openings in 2017, 71. So this is just rapidly expanding the way it is. And either way, if it's retail ones, in the case of Amazon, they are opening up retail locations. But ultimately, the bulk of their business is done online. And that business is expanding much faster than any of their brick and mortar ventures. What I would say is that in the end, there is something very clear happening. Jobs are disappearing. The education system is a failure because these people get out of school, They're in massive amounts of debt, which is all fake anyway. And then you have to look at why this is all happening. What is the root cause of this madness? And you have to figure it is the system itself. The central banks create liquidity. They decide specifically not how many people, how many shareholders there are in a particular company. It is the central banks that determine specifically the price of these shares. They determine the value of the stock market, and they determine if you have a job or not. No matter how you look at it, it doesn't have to be a publicly traded company. For the central banks to have that ability to pump up different markets, different companies in any particular country. And of course, they all work together, so we know the plan. And essentially, that's all I wanted to cover. I don't see really a way to get out of this. They are making it worse. They're digging themselves into a deeper and deeper hole. And unfortunately, the crisis is expanding. It's getting worse. And the mainstream media and the government in collusion have done one thing really, really well. And that is to cover up a complete disaster. If you think about how bad it is, and then how well they've covered it up so that the mass populace has no idea. Think about that. It's like they're in the house, it's burning down, they see the flames, the smoke, they're breathing it in, and somebody's just whispering in their ear, don't worry, everything is okay, trust me. And the person's just, I'm choking here, I can't breathe, but I guess he's right. I mean, he's obviously right, he's telling me it's the truth. And people are brainwashed, and that's really the way it is. If you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up. Last but not least, if you found this video informative, I know you will find my books, The Money GPS and Global Economic Collapse, even more informative. You can actually flip through my books. If you go to Amazon, they have a look inside feature that will allow you to flip through the pages of the books to see if you like them. Take care.